左肩の亜脱臼でこの後のシーズン出場が危ぶまれていた大谷翔平選手ですが、大事には至らずワールドシリーズ第3戦に先発出場する見込みとの情報が入ってまいりました。もともと肩の関節が柔らかく、肘同士が体の前でつく大谷選手でしたのでどうなることかと心配していましたが、もう素振りを再開して可動域の確認もしているとのことで、心配というか、超人として驚いているというか、すごすぎて呆れるというか、びっくりです。現地放送局もこのニュースを危機として報道しておりましたので、第3戦の展望、ジャッジ選手の不振等の情報と合わせ、翻訳してお届けいたします。このチャンネルでは日本人メジャーリーガーに関する現地放送局の様子を翻訳してお届けいたしておりますので、お見逃しのないよう今のうちにチャンネル登録をお願いいたします。
It's a World Series matchup for the ages and has definitely lived up to the hype in games 1 and 2 as the Fall Classic moves to the Bronx for game 3 on Monday. A beautiful afternoon at Yankee Stadium as NTT Ballpark Cam takes a peek on the field where our own Sierra Santos will be reporting live a little bit later on as we welcome you inside of this World Series edition of MLB Tonight presented by Evan Williams Bourbon. Lauren Garden alongside World Series champ Ron Darling. And Ron, the series moves back to New York down 0-2 here for the Yankees. It's going to be a tough one for the Yankees to dig out of, but if anyone knows how to do this, it would be you. You did it with your 86 Mets.
Yeah, well, I was lucky enough to play in a team that lost both games at home and then had to go on the road to do it. So this is definitely, there's an avenue, certainly, for the Yankees to do this. More importantly, when you look at this, if you look at it realistically, the Dodgers held serve, right? So they won both games at their ballpark. The Yankees played so well all season long at Yankee Stadium. I expect them to do the same tomorrow, and it's a huge game, of course.
Yeah, Dodgers, a costly victory there in Game 2. A scary moment in the 7th as Shohei Ohtani suffered a partial shoulder dislocation attempting to steal second base. Now, Dave Roberts was optimistic following the game on Saturday, saying it was just that partial tear. The movement and the strength was really good. Let's go ahead and hear from the Dodgers skipper for the latest update on the two-way superstar.
So as far as test results, we got doctors scrambling everywhere. I don't have them. This is more me going by the training staff. Shohei, feeling good this morning, range of motion, strength. He should be at the ballpark here in the next 30 minutes and going to go through the workout. And I think that, you know, taking dry swings, which he's done, but then obviously taking balls off the tee, batting practice in the cage, that's going to be telling. And I think that he's obviously very well aware of himself and his body. So if he feels good enough to go, then I see no reason why he wouldn't be in there. I think it's just, honestly, it's just kind of per his tolerance. That's just what it is. So I guess you can put it in the Freddie bucket, but, you know, guys have had this before and played, and again, it's just everyone's tolerance.
How compromised do you think he might be playing?
I don't see him being compromised. It's the left shoulder, which is the back shoulder, so I don't see how that affects his hitting if he's able to go. I really don't.
Ron, I would say read between the lines, but it seems like Doc was pretty straightforward. What do you make of that?
Well, anyone who's played a lot of sports, like Dave Roberts, has probably had a partial dislocation at some point. The funny thing about a dislocation, and I've had a few myself, is that the initial pain when you suffer the injury is so overwhelming that you can't believe that you can feel as well as you do so soon after that. So I would expect him to not only play, but also be close to 100%. Ironic. We hear the talk all the time of guys sliding head first that you're going to hurt your hand or your shoulder. Well, he went feet first and ended up partially dislocating his shoulder. But, you know, it's the kind of injury when treated by the doctor, within 24 hours you feel much better, and I'm sure he's going to be ready to go.
You know, it's interesting. I covered a lot of football and a lot of hockey, and I've seen like a full dislocation and the pain associated with that. You could tell it was partial because you said it, like it kind of set in a little bit later, and then it would kind of ease. Now he's rehabbing the right arm from Tommy John. Now he has the left arm. Do you think it will impact his swing at all?
I don't think so. Now, the shoulder is a tricky thing. I remember after the great year that Matt Kemp had, where he finished second in the MVP voting as a Dodger, he hurt his shoulder. In the next couple of years, he was compromised. The same happened to other players. So shoulders are a little tricky, but I think rehabbing his right arm, Tommy John, is not going to be a problem. He's been doing that all year. And if he can stand the pain, the lingering pain that he's going to have, and I'm sure that he'll be able to take some things that'll help ease that pain, we'll put him in a good spot.
Yeah, I was going to say, it's a World Series, do or die. At this point in time, it seems like Shohei Ohtani is an absolute game
These
racing.
guys
Freddie
are
Freeman do
studs.
the same thing. Exactly.
They're studs, Lauren. They're ready to
Hey,
go.
if there's any time to gut it out, it is right now in the Fall Classic, especially with a 2-0 lead. Another superstar in question, of course, is Yankees slugger Aaron Judge, who went 0 for 4 with 3 strikeouts in Game 2. You had a front row seat during the DS as well as the CS with the Yankees. What have you seen from him that's just not working well?
You know, I take it back to even before the hitting part of it. He's such a conscientious human being, conscientious captain, teammate, that I know he knows that the legacy of anyone who's the captain of the Yankees is becoming a world champion at some point. So no one wants it anymore. And I'm wondering if somehow that kind of plays in, because right now he is locked into a place that a lot of hitters get to, and that is he's in between. Understand what the pitchers are doing, how they're trying to get you out. And I think if you look at where he's at right now, is he going to have a game that erases his numbers in the postseason? Of course he's not. But he can affect the outcome of the series by kind of making it a little easier on himself, that he doesn't have to hit the 5-run homer. All he has to do is kind of stay within himself, what he did all summer long, and that is he took the chase out of his game. The chase has come back now during this postseason.
And I love what you're saying there about sack flies, taking her walks, just getting on base. He's the captain. He doesn't even like to talk about himself.
Right.
We know that goes all the way back to Fresno, where you're fine for saying me or I. Chase rates are up. He's even missing the mistakes, Ron. But this is something he experienced early on in the season. He obviously had a little bit longer leash to correct himself, but it seems like he can find it again.
Lauren, you make a great point. You know, in April, Aaron Boone was answering all these questions before. You know, what's wrong with Judge? How come he's not hitting? What he's chasing, this or that or whatever. And he turned it into one of the most historic 5 months you can have in baseball. I think that when I hear him quoted as saying he feels like he lets the team down when he doesn't respond, that's a lot of pressure to put on himself. You know, you lose as a team, you win as a team. He can only do as much. If you expected that he's going to hit a homer and drive in 4 every game, very rarely happens in the postseason because the pitching is so much better than it is during the regular season.
That's also a great point.
But, you know, you can see the chase. And when I see chase from a great hitter off a great year, I see frustration. And frustration is only natural. It's a human response. And I'm sure being at home and having a chance maybe with the shorter portion right to stay on the ball longer might put him in a better spot.
I feel like all it takes is one swing. Now, I want to ask you this question because we're here in the Northeast. I've listened to a lot of Yankees talk on the podcast, and there have been some calls for Aaron Boone to switch things up in the lineup. Would you do that, especially since they're so righty heavy at the top?
Yeah, I would not switch it up. You know, you can still go back to thinking that maybe Rizzo or Jazz Chisholm can fit in that fourth spot and move Stanton down. The reason I wouldn't...
Ain't broke, don't fix it, but maybe he will turn it around. And like we just said, it only takes one swing. Shohei Ohtani left last night's game after injuring his shoulder, sliding into second base. Now, Dave Roberts spoke this evening. What's the latest?
That's a big question, right? Will Shohei Ohtani be in this lineup come Game 3 here at Yankee Stadium tomorrow night? Dave Roberts was asked that question right off the bat. Here's what he had. Feels that since it's his left shoulder, his back shoulder, that it really shouldn't compromise his hitting, LG. It's more or less a matter of pain tolerance.
Wow, so it sounds promising if you're a Dodgers fan. Sierra, Aaron Judge's struggles have continued into the Fall Classic with the Yankees down 0-2. How important is it for them that their captain gets back on track? I know we've been asking this all postseason.
100%. And if you ask Judge, he's also feeling the pressure of it because over this last 5-game stretch of the postseason, Aaron Judge's chase rate has doubled compared to the regular season. As to why he's been expanding the strike zone, he explained last night that he's been trying to force things instead of letting the game come to him. Bottom line, the answer is simple enough. He's got to start swinging at strikes. Last night, he was asked if he felt like he was a little bit closer to being in the right place going into Game 2. He pointed at the at-bat against Brusdar Graterol in Game 1, in which he got his lone hit in this World Series. LG, he said himself, when it comes down to it, he has just got to get the job done.
Yeah, and you know that he is a team-first guy. The captain really feeling the pressure, especially down 0-2 in the series. Clark Schmidt-Sierra will get the ball for the Yankees here in Game 3. Walker Buehler will get the start for the Dodgers. What's Buehler's game plan for tomorrow night?
Well, here's the thing. When it comes to familiarity, when it comes to these two Game 3 starting pitchers, throw it out the window. Clark Schmidt has never faced the Dodgers. Walker Buehler has never faced the Yankees. Now, Buehler has played 2 World Series games. He started 2 World Series games. Those both resulted in Dodger wins. And he said it before, and he's really driven it home. He loves the big moment. He loves the cold weather. Heck, he even loves Game 3s. Here he is talking about it.
I think the weather, I think the stadium has something to do with it. So, as I said, having never thrown here, I'm not really sure if that will kind of continue. But yeah, I said it before that game. I like pitching in the cold, and so yeah, hope it gets down there a little bit tomorrow.
And just to drive the point home, he also did have that Game 3 start at Citi Field. All of his starts have been Game 3s, and he really does enjoy the rowdy environment. You can expect this place to be absolutely electric tomorrow. And Schmidt, on the other hand, he hasn't made a playoff start. He has a scoreless relief appearance at Yankee Stadium, and that's what I mean, at Yankee Stadium. He's never started in the playoffs at Yankee Stadium. So if you're looking to pull numbers on how these guys match up with their opposing lineups, you're going to have to do some deep digging, LG. Now, the Yankees opted to fly out today instead of leaving on that red eye tomorrow. So we're not going to see them work out today. The soonest we'll see them is back here for Game 3.
Oh, interesting. I know that sleep doctors really get involved in team travel, so interesting to hear that's a route that the Yankees chose. And, of course, Walker Buehler loves pitching in the cold. I know you and I don't like reporting in the cold, so good for him.
No, I hate it. It's miserable.
Stay warm out there,
Get me
Sarah.
hand warmers.
とにもかくにもまずはニューヨークにすでにいるということがびっくりですし、この後出場できないという形にならず、本当に良かったと思います。超人的な回復力なのか、精神力なのか、柔軟性なのか、根性なのか分かりませんが、本人が出れる、チームドクターが出れる、医者も OK しているなら大丈夫ということでしょうか。できれば盗塁はなるべくしないようにしてほしいなと思います。皆さんは正直、この後の試合に大谷翔平選手は出るべきだと思いますか？心配や安心など、皆さんの声をぜひ聞かせてくださいね。それでは次回の動画でお会いしましょう。さようなら。